Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Welcome to Sports Talk with RJ. I'm Steve Risser, along here with Justin D'Onofrio, and we are here. Opening day is tomorrow. I know the season started last week, but pretty much nobody told us because the games were at 6 a.m. and that's on the commissioner there for nobody really telling us when opening day the opening games were. But opening day is tomorrow, and the Yankees will be the first game as they face the Milwaukee Brewers. And it's been a very up and down offseason for the Yankees. It started really bad as they couldn't get Juan Soto re-signed. It got better though, as they signed Max Fried, they traded for Cody Bellinger, they signed Paul Goldschmidt, they trade for what they signed Devin Williams. They trade or signed for Williams, or I think they signed Devin Williams. Traded for Devin Williams, so it got better. But then once we got to spring training, it got worse as Giancarlo Stanton got hurt, TJ LeMahieu got hurt, and the worst thing that could have happened to this team, Garrett Cole is going to have Tommy John, and he's out for the season. So the big question for the Yankees is, can they still win this American League East? Can they still win the AL East with all the injuries they've suffered and the loss of Juan Soto? And I think they can, because I still think they are the best. They are the best team in the division. I still think they are. I think in the lineup, yes, you still got Judge. You add a good addition, really good trade with Bellinger. I like Bellinger in the middle of this lineup. I think Goldschmidt is actually an upgrade over what Rizzo gave you last year. So I like Kevin Goldschmidt. I think you're going to get a full year of Jazz Chisholm. So I think this lineup, it won't be as good, but I think it will be a good lineup. I think it'll be good enough to win this division. I think they're well-rounded enough to win the division. I think they are. I think Austin Wells will have a big. It's my prediction. Austin Wells will have a good year. I think he has a good year. We'll see what Dominguez does in left field. But in the rotation, you got Rodon, you got Rodon and Fried at the top of it. I think that'll be a good, top two guys in the rotation. I like that. Stroman, the depth in the rotation will be an issue, but you never know. These are the Yankees; they could sign somebody. And then you got the bullpen. You got in the bullpen. I really like trading for Devin Williams, and then Luke Weaver really showed how good he was at the end of the year. So I think this bullpen is going to be better than last year, especially in the ninth inning. Clay Holmes blew a lot of games in the ninth inning last year. So for me, I got the Yankees. I got the Yankees winning the AL East. Now, do I have them repeating in the American League? We'll get to that later. But I do have them winning the AL East. Justin, what do you have the Yankees doing this year?
I have them finishing third in the AL East. I'm not high at all.
Very pessimistic. You picked against him in the World Series, and now you got him finishing in third in the AL East.
Yeah. Well, I was right about the World Series one.
You were right. You're definitely right about the World Series. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a brutal showing. You already have a couple injuries to your rotation. You still haven't pitched one game yet. There's going to be a couple more. Where's this depth? I get you're going to get Clark Smith back hopefully in a couple weeks, but who else is going to be the starter soon? When somebody goes down, I don't know. You're already testing your depth. They want to get rid of Stroman. He's still on the team. So that's my big concern right now, because going in spring training, that was going to be one of the better rotations in the sport. Now it's probably in the bottom half. So, and Fried's a guy that's been known to be injured at times too. So I'm very worried about the rotation. And then like this lineup, like there's just a lot of unknowns. Like Volpe's got to have an on base percentage over 300 this year. He just has to. You know, who's protecting Judge? It sounds like Wells leading off. He had a nice year, but like he struggled down the stretch. Who knows when you get Sand back? Do we really know we're gonna have Dominguez? Like I think there's a lot of question marks with this team right now. And yeah, the back end of the bullpen's gonna be great, but like we're gonna have to score enough runs night in and night out. And this lineup the last couple years isn't that consistent. And Judge can't do it all. So I kind of worry right now. Like I think they'll probably be around 85 wins. Like, but like I'm not. I love the offseason, and then since that, or going to spring training, I was optimistic. But like now, it's just like I just don't know. I think there's too many question marks right now.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they were definitely definitely a better team coming into spring training than they were coming out of it. You're right about that. I think I'm saying around 90 wins. I'm saying around 90 wins. I think the lineup. I think it won't be as good, but I don't think it'll be terrible. I think it'll be around 10. I think it'll be. I still think they'll be close to top 10 in runs scored. I do think this team will be close to top 10 in runs scored. I think the rotation will be good because they're going to. I mean, it's going to be a while, but they'll get Heel back in. They'll get Heel back in July, and you never know. Heel stepped up last year. Do we think Heel was going to step up last year? He did. So Warren might be able to step up. Carrasco, he's a professional. I know he's a pitcher a while, but he's a professional. You never know. These guys might give us good outings. You never know. You're not high on Carrasco. I'm seeing.
He got hit hard last year. I know he's. I guess the velocity is up, but like I don't know. I don't think he's that great anymore.
Yeah. So as you look at the lineup, I think it's not as good, but I think it has potential. The rotation has potential too. Yes. I don't think this Yankee team will be as good as last year. We'll do our playoff predictions later, and I'll tell you how far I think they're going to go. But here's the question. Here's the question. Do you even though they're in third place, do you have them making the playoffs?
I do. I have the last team getting it.
You do have them making the playoffs. So even though they're in third, you do have them making it to the playoffs. So you do have that. You do have them going to the postseason. Yeah,
I do. Sliding that last spot, but wouldn't be shocked when the Central teams get it because in this division you don't get 9 free wins like the Central does playing the White Sox every night. So
exactly.
That's the thing that can come back and bite them. Exactly. It comes down to that.
Exactly. So yeah, it should be an interesting year for the Yankees. They open it up tomorrow at Yankee Stadium, 3:00, one of the first game of the year. Yankees against the Brewers. So we'll see what happens there. But we will move on to the Red Sox. And the Red Sox, I think they outside of maybe I would say the Diamondbacks, they lost Christian Walker, even though they got Naylor and Corbin Burns. I think they had the best offseason of any team because of the additions they made. They went out and got Garrett Crochet. I really traded for Crochet. They went out and signed Alex Bregman. I think that was a good move. And they also, made some small moves. They went out and got Aroldis Chapman in that bullpen. They went out and, signed Walker Buehler to add some. I know he wasn't good. It wasn't good until the playoffs last year, but to add some depth into the rotation. So I do like the moves the Red Sox have made. I like their lineup. I like, Duran at the top, Devers, Bregman in that lineup. Stories in that lineup. He's probably not going to stay healthy. Cash is back. We'll see if he stays healthy. You got Raphael at the bottom. You got Campbell taking over at second base. And then you look at the rotation. First two guys, Crochet and Houck, they're pretty good. Now, the reason why I have the Red Sox coming in third, I do have them making the playoffs. I do have them sneaking into the playoffs. But the reason I have them coming in third place again is because I think they'll win more games. I think they'll be about like 85, 86 wins. I think they'll be around there. I think they'll be 85, 86 wins. And they'll get into the playoffs. I think this will be the best Red Sox season they had since 2021 because I do like the aggressiveness of Craig Breslow in the offseason. So I do like that. But what I question with them is bullpen depth and rotation depth, which they can improve at the deadline. I get it. But right now, I got the Red Sox finishing in third place, around 85, 86 wins. So it's going to be close between the three teams, the Red Sox, Orioles, and Yankees. But I do have the Red Sox finishing in third place in the division. Justin, what do you got the Red Sox doing this year?
Yeah, I've been finishing in second in this division. Yeah, I know they're kind of banged up a little bit with the rotation right now, but I just think their lineup, there's not many holes in that lineup right now. I know like Christian Campbell, I know he had who's going to be the starting second baseman. I know he had a rough spring, but like the last week he's really come on and looked a lot better. They still got Costas. You have Devers probably gonna be your everyday DH. Durant too had finished top 10 in MVP. So their lineup's really, really good. Now, yeah, what could kill them is their bullpen late in games. With the Rose Chapman being the ninth inning guy, as Yankee fans, we kind of know the roller coaster you go on when he's closing out games. So that's an adventure. But again, Cora too as a manager is going to win them a couple more games than they should. He'll, so you have that. I just really like this lineup. I know the pitching right now is banged up and there's question marks in the bullpen, but I just think that lineup is pretty complete, and I think it's one of the best lineups of baseball. And I do think they're going to be able to score runs night in and night out and win some kind of shootout like games. So I have Boston kind of winning 87, 88 games, somewhere right around there.
And winning the division?
Finishing second.
Finishing second. So now this leads me to my next question in the AL East. And with the Orioles, and they lost they lost Corbin Burns, they lost Anthony Santander, so their ace and their guy that led their team in RBIs, they lost both those players. The question with the Orioles is, do they have a better chance of winning the division, or do they have a better chance of missing the playoffs or winning the division? I'm going to say winning the division. I don't have them winning the division. I have the Yankees winning the division, but I do have them making the playoffs. Yes, the rotation is a question mark. A lot of average guys with Zach Eflin, Charlie Morton, Dean Kramer, a lot of average guys. But I do like this. Even though they lost Santander, I like this lineup. Tyler O'Neill has got power, and I think you're getting a breakout year at Jackson Holiday. I think Jackson Holiday is having a breakout year this year. And you're getting Felix Bautista back in that bullpen. So maybe that bullpen will be a little bit better. But I think for me, what's going to keep them from winning the division, though, is the rotation. I think the rotation is very average. Losing Corbin Burns, I know Grayson Rodriguez he's on the injured list too. So this rotation to me is very, very average. That's why I would say, I think, again, they're 88 to 87 wins. It's very close to me between the Red Sox, Orioles, and Yankees in the AL East. Very close between those three teams. But I would say I would give the Yankees the edge over them is their bullpen. I think their bullpen's deeper, and I think the rotation's deeper. So to answer the question, I do think they have a better chance to win the division because I think they're really close with the Yankees. I do think they have a better chance to win the division than miss the playoffs. Justin, better chance for the Orioles to win the division or miss the playoffs?
I think it's to win the division. I have them winning this division. I know their rotation's not great. I know Grayson Rodriguez is supposed to throw a bullpen later this week, so maybe they get him back later in April, maybe early May. Zach Eflin's not for a team with that's contending. Zach Eflin probably should not be Eflin should not be your ace in the rotation going in.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So that's definitely an issue. And Morris, he'll give you 5 good innings every night, or decent innings, but he's not gonna be much more than that. But yeah, you'll get Phil Bautista back, Yerny Cano, kind of your 8th inning guy. But again, with the Red Sox, I just think their lineup is so loaded and there's not many holes. And I think it's gonna help too that they shrink back in the left field wall. Yeah, the left field wall they brought it back to where it was a couple years ago. So be more of a hitter's park like it used to be. So Gunnar Henderson had an unbelievable season last year. They just got so many young, talented guys that they're going to put up a lot of runs every night, and they get Rodriguez back. I know there's a couple other guys that they're hoping to get back in the summertime. And I do think the Orioles are in good position to win this thing. And I know that they haven't done it yet, but at some point, I do think they're going to make a splash too with a trade, and they will give up some of these prospects, I think, at some point. So, and go get somebody big that really help out the pitching staff. But so I got the Orioles win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Orioles won it. I just think, I think with Gunnar Henderson starting the year in the IL, and the rotation being average, and not knowing totally what you're going to get in the bullpen, I'm going to have them finish in second. But the final question for the AL East, with the bottom two, with two teams who I think are going to be at the bottom, the Blue Jays and the Rays. Even though the Blue Jays did a little bit this offseason, getting Santander, but they missed out on Alonso and Soto. Lebeshi missed out. They were very close to Alonso and didn't get him. That would have really helped that lineup. But which team has a better chance to be a sleeper? The Rays or the Blue Jays? And I think it's an easy one. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays because Bo Bichette, he missed half the year last year. They got Santander, so that lineup's definitely going to be better. And their pitching rotation with Barrios and Gossman and Bassett's okay, is decent. I just think the Blue Jays, with the moves they made, especially with the move they made getting Santander, and for them, hopefully Bichette stays healthy. But ultimately, I do think the Blue Jays do miss the playoffs, and if they're out of it late July, Vladimir Guerrero could be gone. So this is for them to stay in this thing. Guerrero's probably going to be gone in late July if they're out of it. So, but to answer this question, I'm going to say the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays have a better chance to be the sleeper team in the AL East more than the Rays.
I'm gonna go with the Rays here because you just can never count out this baseball team. You just can't.
I know you can't count them out, but they're playing in the Yankees AAA park. They got no money, and they're losing. They've been losing players over the last couple of years.
They have. Do you know they're gonna call up 2 or 3 pitchers that you've never heard of that come out and look like Cy Young guys? They always do. And I know McClanahan got hurt Sunday. I think they're hoping like May. Shane Bass had a pretty decent year. Taj Bradley, I think they're pretty high on too. So right now they're pretty healthy at the pitching spot. I know at some point they probably won't. They still got Yandy Diaz, still Brandon Lowe in that lineup. They still have some decent pieces in there. I know the schedule's pretty whack because of having to play at the Yankees George Steinbrenner Field this year. So I know they changed some things around with their home and road games. So I guess that could be an issue, but I just can never count the Rays. Like they always do kind of surprise you every single year. Kevin Cass is a pretty good manager, so I'm gonna take the Rays. They'll probably have a ton of pitching injuries, but they'll just call up guys you never hear of, and they'll figure it out, and they'll hang around like they always do. And they always play the Yankees tough. They always seem to play the Red Sox and the Orioles tough. Like they're always just a tough out. And so I'm gonna take the Rays here to be the sleeper.
So for me to wrap up my division prediction, Yankees winning the division, Orioles coming in second, getting one of the wild cards, Red Sox coming in third, getting one of the wild cards, Blue Jays coming in fourth, missing the playoffs, being around 80 to 81 wins, around 500, and then the Rays probably 78, maybe 78 to 75 wins, finishing in last place. Justin, I know you got I think the way you got it is you got it. O's, Red Sox, Yankees, Rays, and then Blue Jays.
Yeah. I think the bottom two there, the Rays. I think they figure it out. They'll win like 80. I think they'll win like 80, 81 games. Toronto, I think will be like right there too, like 78, 78. I worry Toronto that I know you mentioned it. Like if they are out of it come July, like they do trade Vlad Guerrero. I think Bo has one. This is it. I think for Bo, I know he had it down here too, but they ship out Bo if they can't figure it out. Deal with him. So maybe both those guys in the move and they really kind of go south because I know I think they have one of the worst farm systems too in the sport. So it's not like they have a ton of talent ready to come up either. So I'm gonna go with Toronto finishing in last place in this division.
Gotcha. So we'll move on to the AL Central. And last year, the AL Central got 3 teams in the playoffs. They got three teams, and not only in the playoffs, three of the 4 teams were outside of the Yankees. 3 of those 4 teams were in the division series, and the Yankees played 2 of them. The Royals in the division series they beat, the Guardians in the ALCS they beat, and the Tigers got to Game 5 of the ALDS against the Guardians. So the big question is this team going to get multiple? Is this division going to get multiple teams in the playoffs again? And I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because 2 of them that made the playoffs got a little bit worse. And I think they're both still good, but got a little bit worse. I think the Royals got worse because they lost Brady Singer. They traded him for Jonathan India. They traded him to the Reds for Jonathan India. And the Guardians got worse because they lost Josh Naylor. He went to the Diamondbacks. So I think 2 of those teams got worse. Now one of them improved. I feel like the Tigers improved. They went out and got more importantly, they brought back Jack Flaherty, and they went out and signed Gleyber Torres. So I'm going to say no. I think there's only going to be 1 team that comes out of this division this year. I think only 1 team makes the playoffs out of the AL Central this year. Justin, does the AL Central get multiple teams in?
Yeah, I think they do get multiple teams again. I'm really high on this Royal team. I know they did trade Brady Singer, but they need another bat, and I think Chris Bubik will be fine, kind of in that 5th spot for him. And I know they still have Alex Marsh and Kyle Wright at some point. I know they're both banged up. I think they're both still be back like by May. Vinny Pasquino, I know might miss a little bit of time as well. He's a big bat in that lineup. I just really like their top of the lineup there with Bobby Witt, who's still going to be in like MVP conversation. Salvador Perez that guy hasn't slowed down, and he's 34 years old, catching every day. So I like the Royals to get in, and then I do like the Tigers. You mentioned they did get better. Terry Sukubal still at the top of that rotation. Jack Flaherty as well. Get him back, and then I do think they definitely definitely the lineup did improve there with Gleyber Torres. Trey Sweeney looked the former Yankee yard, farmhand looked pretty good, and then if they can get anything out of Spencer Torkelson, like the former top 5 pick or whatever, they can kind of get him going. I do think the Tigers could sneak in. I just think you're going to get 2 because these 4 teams are all going to play the White Sox at least 12, 13 times. So they're each going to get 8 or 9 wins from that at least. So I think you're going to see 2 just because they get to beat up on the White Sox.
Now, who do you have winning the division? I'm going to go with the Tigers. I think they were the hottest team last year at the end of the season. They got Jack Flaherty. Kerry Carpenter missed half the year. He was their best hitter. He missed half the season. So I think it's going to be the Tigers. I think they'll be better offensively. They're good in the bullpen. They're the most well-rounded team in the division, in my opinion. I know he had the cheating scandal, but they got a really good manager in AJ Hinch. I'm going to go with the Tigers to win this division.
I'm going with Kansas City to get it done this year. Again, Cole Reagans too that they got that could be in the running. As a Cy Young guy. I know the bullpen might need a little bit of work, but that's something easy you can fix in the summer. I think they got enough in the lineup, and I think the Kansas City Royals will find a way to win the division this year.
Yeah. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be close between. I think it's going to be close again, but I do think the Tigers win. I think they come in first. I'm going with the Guardians in second. I think they just missed the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Royals in third. I think they're close. They just missed the playoffs too. Twins, I think they're average again. And the White Sox, we don't even need to talk about them. They'll be lucky to get 50. They'll be lucky to get maybe 55 wins. So I got one team coming out of there with the Tigers, and it looks like so who do you got winning the division? Who's your division? Who's your division win? You're going with the
I get the
Royals.
Royals.
Royals again. Yeah, you got the Royals. So you got the Royals, and who do you got? Tigers, Guardians, probably.
Yeah, Guardians, Twins, and then the White Sox run out the rear.
So
over-under, I think, for them, 53 for the White Sox.
They're not a major league team. It's sad. They are not a major league team. No. They lost a historic 21 games in a row last year. So you got the Royals. I got the Tigers. Should be an interesting AL Central. Now moving to the AL West. And the big question is this the year that the Houston Astros don't win the division? Like since 2017, they've won it every year outside of the COVID year where the A's won the division. It's crazy to say that now. The A's won a division title, but that's before they started their fire sale. But is this the one year that the Astros don't win the division? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because even though the Astros lost Kyle Tucker, which is a loss, even though they lost Alex Bregman, they did get Paredes to play third base, and he was pretty much as good as Bregman was last year. Let's be honest. Paredes was as good as Bregman was last year, and so they got him, and they also got Christian Walker to play first base. So I don't think they'll be obviously as good offensively, but I still think they're going to be a really good team. They got good. You know what you're going to get from the rotation from Framber Valdez at the top. You got Hunter Brown. You got Josh Hader as the closer. So I'm gonna say no. I still think this is the Astros' year to win the division. Justin, is this the year the Astros don't win the AL West?
I do. I think it's the Rangers' year to win it. I think the Astros missed the playoffs this year. I think the first team out in the American League.
Wow, that's a take right there. That's a take.
Yeah.
So yeah, because you only have one team coming out. You only have one team coming out of this division.
Yeah, I think two. I want to say with the Mariners too. I still don't trust their lineup enough to take the Mariners. I'm a huge fan of that team, and I know Julio Rodriguez is definitely gonna have a bounce back year. But I think with Bruce Bochy, DeGrom seems healthy. I know that's always a big question mark with him. And then you got some question marks. I know with Leiter and Rocket, the two guys who are electric at Vanderbilt together. But if they turn out to the prospects that they are, that's going to be good. I know the bullpen isn't great for the Rangers either, but that's again something you can fix minor. minor details, but I really like the lineup. There's a lot of power there with Jake Berger, Mark Simeon, Josh Jung, Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, Jack Peterson. So I love the Rangers lineup. There's a ton of power there. And with Bochy at the manager, I'm going to take him to beat out the Astros.
Oh yeah, I know. I can see the Rangers being it because they had a lot of injuries last year. I mean, Seager missed time. I mean, Grom and Rocker. I mean, that Rocker is definitely the wild card there. Rocker's the wild card. You got Evaldi in that rotation. Bullpen's a little questionable, but I like the line. I do have the Rangers. I have the Rangers being a playoff team. I got them as a wild card. I got them as a wild card. And Seattle, I like again. You like the rotation, but Kirby's going to miss some time. I think he's on the IL. You got Castillo and you got Gilbert. But the problem with Seattle is the offense. The offense just isn't. Justin Turner called him out during the. Julio Rodriguez had a really down year last year. They did pay Cal Raleigh to be their most consistent hitter. Even though a lot of people think Julio Rodriguez is their superstar, Cal Raleigh is their most consistent hitter. And it was arena average. So I just don't think the Mariners are good enough offensively. I think they missed the playoffs again. They have a winning record, but I think they missed the playoffs again. I do like Texas. I like Texas. I think it's going to be a battle between all three teams, but I do think that Houston beats out Texas for the division, but I do think Texas gets back to the playoffs with the manager they have, and I think they got DeGrom being back. You got Rocker. Yeah, I think it goes Houston winning the division. You got I think the Rangers finishing second as a wild card. Seattle third. I'm going to go with the A's fourth. I think getting Severino, I think they're improved, but they're still not good enough. Langoliers is a really good player. I'll give them that. Or no, Rucker and Langoliers. No, Rucker's a really good player. Langoliers pretty good as well. And then you got. I think the Angels are at the bottom because like Trout, you can't count him staying healthy. So I'm going Astros, Rangers, Mariners, A's, and Angels for the AL West.
Yeah, for me, I got the Rangers, and then I got the Astros. I do like, the rotation is solid. I know they've been banked up in the last couple of years. Like Hunter Brown was off to an atrocious start last year, and he figured it out, and he pitched well down the stretch for him, which was big. I bet Josh Hader pitched better than he did last year. I know he had some struggles at times there. Their bullpen's not bad with Taylor Scott and Brian Abreu in the back end isn't bad. I think their lineup is improved, and Christian Walker at first base is going to help. But I think they just miss out the playoff by like a game or two. And then watching Jose Altuve too in the outfield, spring training has been kind of fun to watch. And you can I know the Crawford box out there in left fields are short, but man, you got to run on him every single time because he's never had an arm. That's something too that maybe cost him a game or two. Third in that division, the Mariners. I hope they get another bat or two. I know in the offseason they tried to get Tristan Casas from the Red Sox. It was either Brian Wu or Bryce Miller, and the Red Sox turned it down. So, I think the Mariners do realize they need another bat there. Yeah, the A's this year. They're probably going to put up a ton of runs in that ballpark in Sacramento there. So maybe they win some shootouts, getting Luis Severino. They had to be one of the most teams that spent the most money this offseason, felt like, which is insane for them. But Lawrence Butler too had a decent year for him. I know they're trying with Miguel Andujar, maybe find something like when he was at the Yankees, but who knows? So I think the A's do finish before them. Fifth with the Angels, yeah, it's pretty pathetic. I know Ron Washington's not allowing cell phones in the clubhouse, I guess now, or I don't know how that's
crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I know Trout, I think they're going to take out with center field most days. He's going to play a lot of right field, going to DH some days. I think there's some pop in that lineup. There's not a lot. And again, with that pitching staff, I just think is a total mystery. I know they got in Kenley Jansen, but by July, he's probably a trade piece for somebody. So, yeah, I think the Angels yet again finished in fifth place.
Yeah, they definitely should. Now moving on to the National League and moving on to the National League East. And the big move of the offseason was Juan Soto. The Mets paid an arm and a leg to get Juan Soto. So the big question is does Soto make the Mets the favorite to win the NL East? And I am going to say no. I'm gonna say no. I think it's the Phillies. I think the Phillies are a more well-rounded team. Here's the issue with the Mets going out and getting Soto. They had to let two pitchers walk. They had to let Severino and Quintana walk. They got injuries in the rotation already with Montez and Manaea. They got injuries in the rotation already. Clay Holmes is their opening. It's crazy to say. I think Clay Holmes is their opening day starter. It's crazy to think that. That's what happened. I mean, they were. I give them credit for being aggressive, going out and get Soto, but they've had to lose, other areas of their team because of it. So, I mean, I think this lineup is outstanding. I mean, this lineup is phenomenal. I mean, they probably have, outside of the Dodgers, they probably have the best, top 1, 2, 3 in base, 1, 2, 3 in baseball with Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. That's a really good 1, 2, 3. You got Nimmo too, Viento. So their lineup's going to be great. I think their lineup is going to be outstanding. The issue is going to be though is the depth in the rotation and the pitching, and that's why I would not say they are the favorite to win the division. Now, do I think they make the playoffs? Yes, I do think they make the playoffs. But I don't think they're the favorite to win the division. I got the Phillies winning the division. Justin, does Soto make the Mets the favorite to win the NL East?
No, I agree with you there. I do also have the Phillies winning this division. Yeah, I think with the Mets, you mentioned it, the lineup's unbelievable, and I know they're going to miss Francisco Alvarez, who had to, who as a young catcher has a lot of promise, and I know they're hoping maybe back sometime in May. I know Vientos really came on last year, which is huge for him. I know, so adding Soto is going to be huge, and that line's be really good. Kodai Senga, if he could stay healthy, I think that's the big if. Like he's got really good stuff. It's just, the problem is, will he stay healthy this year? And yeah, Clay Holmes, I know he's looked really good in spring training. I have to really see it first. And then again, he's used to throwing 60 innings a year. How many innings can he actually give you this year? Because he's not used to that. So, they might have to go out and go find another starter too in July. But yeah, I think the Mets. I think I have them finishing in third place. Yeah, I have them finishing in third. So I'd like to see him. I like the lineup, but yeah, the pitching staff still kind of a big if. And Edwin Diaz wasn't great last year, and also trying to get Edwin Diaz. I know they got AJ Minter, but like after that, I don't love the guys setting it up to get the Edwin Diaz there in the ninth inning.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, depth in the rotation, depth in the bullpen is an issue for the Mets. But the question, pretty much talking about the NL East as a whole, is 2 of the last 3 years they've gotten 3 teams into the playoffs. Is that going to happen again this year? Are they going to get 3 teams into the playoffs? And I think they will. I think they will get 3 teams into the playoffs. I think the Phillies are the second best team in the National League. I think the Phillies are going to get in. I think that the Mets will get in with the lineup they have. I think the Mets will get in, and I think the Braves get in because Acuna is going to come back. The rotation, a little iffy with the Braves in the rotation. That's why I got them finishing third behind the Mets and the Phillies. I'm a little iffy with the rotation. They got a good bullpen because I don't know if Sale's going to repeat what he did last year. So I do think they're all playoff teams. Just like last year, I think they're all playoff teams. They're all top. I think they're all top 4 teams in the National League. So I think they all make it. I got top 5 teams. I think they're all top 5 teams in the NL, and I got all 3 of them making the playoffs in the National League. So I got all 3 of those teams making the playoffs. Justin, you have the Phillies, Braves, and Mets all making the playoffs in the National League.
Yeah, I do. I do as well here. Yeah, I like the Braves. I know. Yeah, like the Chris Sale stuff. Definitely, if he could stay healthy again, he looked like his old self, and they definitely could need that this year. They lost Max Fried and the Spencer Strider, another guy too that hasn't really been healthy a lot too. And they're hoping maybe like April, May they get him back. So you get Acuna back at some point. Like Matt Olson, I know he had like a rough start to the year. The numbers kind of got better towards the end of the year, but I expect him to come out of the gate strong this year. And they're definitely still have a lot in the lineup. And they just had so many injuries last year too, where I don't think they're gonna have as many injuries to deal with they did last year. Then yeah, I think the Phillies still, that core's still there. There's still a lot of really good pieces. I like kind of the top in their rotation still. So I think their bullpen's a little bit better as well. So I do like the Phillies with everything they still kind of have from that. It's kind of from that core, it's just been with them the postseason stuff has kind of got them the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's especially last year where they lost it in 4 to the Mets. Yeah, so to wrap up, I got the Phillies winning it. Mets, one of the wild cards finishing in second. Braves, one of the wild cards finishing in third. And the Nationals, I got them finishing in fourth. Even though I think they'll be improved, I think you got Wood and you got Cruz in that lineup the entire year. I think they're going to. And you got Gore pitching. I think they're going to be improved, maybe around 75 to 80 wins, maybe like 75, 78 wins. But I don't think they make it. And then the Marlins, we know, will be the will clearly be the worst team. Pretty much all they got is Alcantara in the rotation. So I got it. Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nats, Marlins.
Yeah, for me, I got the Phillies, Braves, Mets, Nationals, which in Marlins, and I think the Nats are going to definitely be improved. They got a lot of young, exciting guys. Like I think they're 1 year away from fighting for that wild card spot. Dylan Cruz, Jacob, Jacob Young, who's in second year, James Wood. I know they have a top prospect too, in Brady House, who I assume at some point is going to make his, who's going to come up and probably make his MLB debut at some point. Mackenzie Gore looked pretty good last year as their kind of future ace. So, and Martinez too is a good manager. And then with Miami, be a little bit better than White Sox, but that's not a functional organization. They're bad, and outside of Sandy Alcantara, there's not much to like out of that team right now. There's a lot of young guys. Maybe a couple of them really pan out. Maybe they could tempt for fourth place in this division, but I see that even being a tough thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on to the NL Central, and we'll start with the Cubs. And the big question is should the Cubs be the favorite to win the division? I'm going to say yes. They went out and got Kyle Tucker. They got a good rotation with Steele and Imanaga. They got Boyd too. I think they got a good rotation. They got a pretty good rotation. Bullpen is decent. So I'm going to say yes. I think the Cubs, and seeing what the Brewers lost with Willie Adames, I'm going to go with the Cubs to win the division. I think they should win the NL Central.
I got the Brewers still. I know they lost Willie Adames, but there's just something always about the Brewers. They always do a good job of outperforming their expectations. I like William Contreras, who was like top 5 in MVP voting last year. Jackson Chourio looked really good his first year in it. Garrett Mitchell showed some promise. I know he's injured, but and Southbury came out towards the end of the year. So I think there's some good young pieces on this team. Terry McGill's not bad in the closer spot. I know there's some injuries already to the rotation. I know they're hoping to get Brian Woodruff back at some point in the near future. But like there's just always something about the Milwaukee team. They're built on pitching, defense, and speed. And that could kind of be a nightmare. So especially on the base pass, all the speed they have. So they might want a lot of things happen. Yeah, I don't think they're going far again in the postseason, but I just think Milwaukee outperforms their expectations yet again this year.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Milwaukee, getting a wild card spot. The thing with Milwaukee is they lost one of their best hitters, and I know Devin Williams was out for a lot of the season last year, but they lost their closer. So the bullpen to me is an issue. I think the lineup got a little bit worse. Rotation, they really don't have. They've lost a lot of guys though over the last couple of years. Milwaukee to me, they just lost a lot of players. I just think they just missed the playoffs. I think Milwaukee just misses the playoffs this year. I mean, but they've lost too many guys for me. They've lost too many guys. I think the Cubs have added. I think this is the Cubs' year to finally, with Craig Counsell, their manager too, finally their year to get back to get on top of the NL Central. And another question we got too is with Terry Francona being in the division, he's now in the division with the Reds. Are the Reds a play? Last year they were 77 and 85. Are the Reds a playoff team with Francona? I'm going to say no. I like the addition of Singer. I like Hunter Green at the top. De La Cruz is pretty good. I think they need a little bit. They need to be more depth on the team. Need more depth in the lineup. Need more depth offensively. Need more depth in the bullpen. They got Francona, but I still think they're an 81 win team.
Yeah, I kind of compare it to when Bruce Bochy went to Rangers, but like they're not as ready to win a World Series like that Rangers team was. But like I think they're 1 year away from really contending here. I do think they finished probably right around 500. There's definitely some good young pieces that they can build on for the future, and I do think Terry Francona is going to give them a couple wins tacked on. And yeah, I do like kind of the young pitching staff that they have. There's definitely some talent there. It's a good young team that's really getting better. But yeah, I think they're like 1 year away from really getting the division, and it seems like every year too in baseball, like they're the kind of the everybody's sleeper pick too. It feels like, and sometimes that just usually doesn't go over well. I think they're 1 year away from really being 1 year away from winning this division.
Yeah, I would agree. I think 1 year away from competing for the division because I think the two teams that compete for it are the Cubs and the Brewers, and with the Cubs winning. And I got the Cubs winning it, Brewers finishing second, but missing the playoffs. I'm gonna go. I mean, the Reds finish in third. I think they finish in third. Cardinals close. I think it's all third, fourth, and fifth are close. You got the Cardinals, who I think they lose Goldschmidt. Arenado's getting old. Sonny Gray, not a ton of depth in that rotation. So I think the Cardinals coming fourth, and the Pirates coming fifth. And don't get me wrong, I like Paul Skeens a lot, but I think the lineup to me is just not good enough. Ryan Reynolds, I like O'Neal Cruz, but they just don't have enough depth in the lineup or the bullpen. So I got the Pirates. Now the Pirates are not anywhere near as bad as the Marlins and the Rockies, but I do have them finishing in last in the Central. So I got it. Cubs, Brewers, Reds, Cardinals, and Pirates.
Yeah, for me, I got the Brewers, Cubs, Cardinals, Reds, Cardinals, Pirates. They're rounding it out. Yeah, the Cardinals, they're not there yet. Young. I know it's an organization that has been really good, but I'm starting to kind of worry about the future. There's not a ton of young talent even at the minor leagues yet for depth. Sonny Gray at the top's not bad, but the rest of the rotation's not overwhelming. And Arenado, think the numbers still weren't bad, but yeah, he's getting up there in age right now. And then with the Pirates, great rotation. I know Jared Jones will probably be out till like June or July.
And that's going to hurt.
Yeah, you still got
that's going to hurt depth in the rotation too.
Yeah, because then you got Mitch Keller as your number 2, and then Andrew Haney as your 3, which isn't great. But yeah, it's just that lineup. I know Joey Bart didn't work out in San Francisco, put up decent numbers last year, Pittsburgh. But yeah, I just don't think this line's gonna be able to score enough. They brought back McCutchen one last time. But yeah, I think they'll finish in last, but I still think they probably win 76 games. Somewhere right around there.
Yeah,
so
just like last year, they won 76 and finished in last place. Because there's not a great team in this division, but there's not an absolutely terrible team in the division. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. The 5 teams were close to 15 games of difference between all 5 teams. So there's not a terrible team in the Central, but there's not a great team in the Central. That's the thing. But yeah, we'll see what happens there with the Cubs and Brewers. Should be interesting. But we will wrap up in the NL West, and the big question you got to ask with how loaded this Dodgers team is, and the rich got richer this offseason, signing Blake Snell, signing Sasaki. The lineup is one of the best in the game. I mean, the big question for this Dodger team is, do they have potential to be as good as the '98 Yankees? I'm gonna say no, because I think the division's pretty good. I think the Diamondbacks are improved. I think the Padres are still a good team. I think the Giants are pretty good too. The only terrible team is the Rockies. So I'm going to say no. I'm not going to say this Dodger team is as good. But I'm going to say no. I think they win. I definitely think they win over 100. But I don't think they're getting to 114.
No, I don't think they're going to win 114 games either. I think too, they get to a point in August, September where maybe they're 20 games up already. They kind of take their foot off the gas a little bit, and they kind of coast and get ready for kind of October. But so yeah, I don't think they're gonna be that good, win that many games. But yeah, I think they probably win 104, 105, something like that, win the division by 15 games. So there's just overwhelming talent on that team. You just go down the rotation, and from May to Yamamoto, Snell's been in an All-Star game. Glasnow, I think, has 2. Sasaki looks like a guy their 5 guys are all-star potential. It's just insane. And then you go to that lineup too. So this Dodger team just absolutely loaded, and yeah, they should have 105, 106 wins easily.
Oh yeah, they should have over 100 wins. They should be 10 games ahead of whoever the second best team in the National League. They should be 10 games ahead of whoever is the second best team in the NL West. So yeah, this Dodger team should be one of the best teams. I think this might be one of the best. This team, I think it's going to be up there with the 2001 Mariners, 2098 Yankees. But I don't think it'll be as good. But I think this is going to be one of the best regular season teams we've seen in a while.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think in the division too, where they'll probably beat the Rockies 12 out of 13 times, something like that. Yeah. The rest of the division, the Giants, they'll be feisty. They're not going to be great, but they'll hang around. The Padres still have some decent talent. The Diamondbacks are still pretty good. So it's not like they're going to be able to beat up on that entire division. They'll get some tough outs there. So yeah, I think this Dodgers team, but yeah, it's just so loaded, and like even if they get an injury or two, like there's so much depth that they should be able to fill that hole, and they still have one of the better farm systems too in the sport. So they got guys kind of in the system too that are ready to come up whenever. So yeah, I think the Dodgers team should be able to contend like with those like 0-1 Mariner teams, and um those are like they have the talent to do it.
Oh, they definitely do. They definitely do. Now, talking about the NL West, the question is what team has the biggest chance of threatening the Dodgers? What's their biggest threat in the division? Is it the Diamondbacks? Is it the Padres? Or is it the Giants? I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks. I like them getting Corbin Burns. I like them, getting Josh Naylor, replacing Walker. They're really, really good. You got Corbin Carroll in that lineup. I think Yuri Gurriel. I think their lineup is one of the best in the game. I think they got three good pitchers in that rotation with Kelly and Zach Gallen and Corbin Burns. I think the Diamondbacks. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team. They're a wild card team. To me, they're the team that's the biggest threat to the Dodgers in the NL West.
Yeah, I'm with you there with the Diamondbacks as well. I know Joe Montgomery, he's got Tommy John now. I know he had a down year with them, but yeah, I like the addition of Corbin Burns. If Eduardo Rodriguez kind of a bounce back year, like that's a good number 4 to have. Josh Naylor coming in to replace Christian Walker is not bad. I know Corbin Carroll had like a down first half year, but the numbers kind of spiked in the second half. So maybe kind of continue off the end of last year and play pretty well. Gurriel's decent left fielder as well. I know Jordan Lawler, I think at some point he'll come up. I know he's one of the top prospects in baseball. So you get him who could I think he's a shortstop. So I do think, the Diamondbacks have they got some depth here, and I really like the rotation at the top too. So I think they finished the second over San Diego in this division.
Yeah, and I think this division, how it goes, obviously Dodgers first. I think Diamondbacks getting one of the wild card spots. I think they finish in second. I'm going to go with the Padres in third. I think they're still a pretty good team. Even though they lost Jurgensen Profar, I think they're a pretty good team. And then in fourth, I'm still going to say the Giants, even though they got Willie Adames. They lost Blake Snell to the Dodgers, so they lost one of their best pitchers to the Dodgers. So I got them in fourth, and then obviously last is the Rockies. So I got the Rockies finishing last. So now we'll do our playoff and World Series picks, and we'll start in the American League. And my 6 playoff teams in the American League, I'll have the Astros as the top seed. Go with the Yankees as the second seed. I'll go with the Tigers as the third because they'll win the Central. The fourth seed, I'm going to go with the Rangers. Fifth seed Orioles, sixth seed Red Sox. So I actually do have the Red Sox winning a playoff series. I do have the Red Sox beating the Tigers in the first round. So I got it Yankees Red Sox in the first round, and then I got the Rangers beating the Orioles. You know what the Orioles do? They always lose first round series. So I got the Rangers beating the Orioles. So I got it Rangers, Astros, Yankees, Red Sox. Got the Astros winning that series, Yankees winning that series, and then the American League. And this is weird that I'm picked. I know I picked the Astros a lot, but it was just so brutal to pick a team in the American League. I got Houston going to the World Series in the American League. Then over in the National League, my number 1 seed is obviously it should go without saying the Dodgers. Number 2, I got the Phillies. Number 3, I'm going to go Cubs. The 4th seed, I'm going to go with Arizona as the 4 seed. Go with the Mets as the 5 seed, and then last, I'm going to go with the Braves as the 6th seed. But I am going to have the Braves pulling the upset, beating the Cubs and playing the Phillies, and then the Diamondbacks beating the Mets. So I got Diamondbacks, Dodgers, Phillies, Braves. Going to go Dodgers and Phillies to win both those series. So I got the Dodgers and Phillies in the NLCS. Going to go Dodgers to win that, and I got Dodgers and Astros in my World Series. Justin, your AL and NL playoffs.
Yeah. For me, I got Baltimore 1, Rangers 2, Royals 3, Red Sox 4, Detroit 5, Yankees 6. So, do have the Yankees beating the Royals in the first round. I have the Red Sox beating Detroit, and then the next round I have Boston. I have Baltimore beating New York, and then I have Texas beating Boston, and then I have the Rangers beating Baltimore to get back to the World Series. And then over on the other side, the Dodgers are the 1, The Phillies are the 2, 3 is Milwaukee, 4 Atlanta, 5 New York, the Mets, and then 6 is the D-backs. I have Arizona knocking off Milwaukee in the 6-3, and then I have Atlanta beating the Mets, and then over the NLDS, I have the Dodgers beating Arizona and Atlanta beating the Phillies, and then I have the Dodgers beating Atlanta, heading the World Series. So I have Texas beating. I mean, I have the Dodgers in Texas, Dodgers and the Rangers in the World Series.
And I'll give my World Series pick. I'm going Dodgers over the Astros and five again. I just think the NL is superior to the AL. The toughest series I think the Dodgers will have in the playoffs is in the NLCS against the Phillies, and I think they might have a tough series against the Diamondbacks in the first round too. Those will be their 2 tougher series, kind of like last year. The toughest series the Dodgers had last year was against the Padres, because they were 1 game from elimination in the NLDS, and then they beat the Mets actually 1 more games than the Yankees against the Dodgers. So they have the 2 tougher series in the NL. I think it's gonna be the same thing this year. I think the Dodgers will win the World Series in 5 over the Astros.
Yeah, I have the Dodgers. I'm gonna go 6 games over the Rangers. Yeah, they're tough competition for LA is gonna come now. The National League Series. So I think the Rangers have the talent there to get there. But the Dodgers are just way too much, and we've kind of talked about it most of the over the winter that the it's going to be tougher for the Dodgers in National League because I don't think there's anybody in the American League that's going to knock them off this year.
I don't think so either. Now we will go to our AL and NL Rookie of the Year, and I'll do our awards, and I'll start. I'm going to go with, for AL, I'm going to go Christian Campbell, the Red Sox, and then NL is pretty obvious, Dylan Cruz of the Nationals.
What was it? I'm sorry. So the National League Rookie of the Year, or the AL Rookie of the Year. I have Christian Campbell.
Yep,
I got Christian Campbell as well.
Yep.
Second baseman. And then over on the other dot on the National League side, we have Rookie Sasaki winning the National League Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I definitely could see Sasaki. I mean, being a Dodger, I definitely could see Sasaki do it. Cruz, I think usually a position player gets it, but I could see Sasaki getting it.
Yeah, I could see Sasaki. He's probably pitched pretty well with the Dodgers. I know maybe they could have a 6-man rotation, but just playing in LA, I think he's gonna a lot of love there. So, I think he's gonna pitch pretty well. He's gonna translate well. So I got him winning the Rookie of the Year.
I could see that happen. I definitely could see Sasaki in that rotation doing that. Now, Cy Young Award in the AL, in the NL, in the AL, I am going to go with Tarek Skubal again. I think he's clearly the best pitcher in the AL, especially with Garrett Cole now out. So I'm going Skubal. I think it's pretty obvious. I think Skubal's going to do it again. He was dominant last year. I think he's going to be dominant this year. Too bad no one's going to watch him pitch against the Dodgers tomorrow night because they got the Sweet 16 game going on. But yeah, I think he wins the AL Cy Young. And then in the NL, I'm going Paul Skeens. I think Skeens has a hell of a year. I'm going to go Skeens. So I'm going to go Skubal and Skeens. Going Skeens in the NL and Skubal in the AL.
I'm gonna go with Cole Reagans. I picked him last year. He was close. But I think the Royals win the division. He's gonna be a big part of it. Skubal's the only one that had more strikeouts than him last year. I think he's still just scratching the surface how good he could be. So I got Cole Reagans with the Royals on the American League side, and the National League side. I agree with you. I got Paul Skeens. He was so dominant last year when he came up 11-3 with a under 2 ERA, and I think his K per 9 was 11.5. And if he pitched enough innings, would have led to National League pretty much in every category. So I think Paul Skeens gonna be dominant again and win the Cy Young.
I definitely could see Paul Skeens winning the Cy Young. Now we go to our AL, and we'll wrap up going to our AL and NL MVPs. And I'm first in the AL. I'm going to go with Yordan Alvarez. I think he has the most protection. He's got more protection than Judge in his lineup. And he's got more protection than Witt in his lineup. So I'm going to go with Yordan Alvarez in the AL. In the NL, Yankee fans aren't going to like me too much. I'm going to go Juan Soto. I think he's, again, another guy with a ton of protection. I think he has a huge year. I'm going to go Juan Soto. I think he has a huge year. I think he played well in New York last year. He continues to play well in New York. I'm going with Juan Soto and Yordan Alvarez.
Wow. I went with on the American League side, Bobby Witt. I think he's done another unbelievable year. Finished last year only behind Judge. Led the league in average. I think he's going to have another really, really good year. He should have another kind of 30 for 30 year. And I just think, he's been close now. And I think this year, he's finally going to get over the hump. And then the National League side, it's pretty chalky. I went with Ohtani. I just think when he's going to be able to pitching too, he should just get his own award at this point because it's not even fair because he's going to win every year. So I like the creativity when he went with Soto there. But I just see he's put up monster numbers at the plate yet again with everything he has in that lineup, and then and then pitching when he comes back to, he's gonna be one of the better pitchers, and the Dodgers gonna be the best record in all baseball. So I think he's probably gonna win it yet again.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. But that's going to wrap it up on Sports Talk with RJ. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We will be back next week previewing the Final Four, talking NFL news that comes our way, and talking about the Yankees and Red Sox as they begin their seasons. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.